Oh.
Ready? I'm ready. All right, call the meeting to order. The Village of Roscoe Zoning Board of Appeals meeting. Get a roll call, please.
Belush, here. Scridlaw, here. Spinizzola,
Here.
Smith, here. Jorgensen.
Here.
Thank you.
Great, did everybody get a copy of the minutes from last meeting?
Yes.
Any corrections, comments on the meeting minutes? If none, if I can get an approval or a motion to approve the meeting minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from our last meeting, which was October 8th.
I second the motion.
Okay. All in favor?
Spinizzola,
Oh, you can do it all in favor. Whichever, roll call or all.
Scridlaw,
Yes.
Jorgensen,
Yes.
Belush,
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, moving on then to new business. First item under new business is ZBA 2025-023, design review for approval of a 573 square foot building addition and signage located at 13477 Quality Drive. PIN 0422-101-002. All right, staff report on this?
Yes. The applicant is P2 Architects and Engineers. They are requesting your approval of design review for the building addition and exterior remodel. The current use is a gas station, travel stop, convenience store, and quick serve restaurant parties. The current zoning is CH, Commercial Highway, and all the adjacent properties are also the same zoning. So the applicant is looking to do a renovation of the project, the property. And included in that is a 573 square foot addition that is going to have a vestibule, merchandise cooler, IT room, and storage space. And on the south side, there's going to be a new canopy and a redesigned storefront, the diesel entrance. ADA accessibility ramps are going to be improved, and the exterior facade is going to be upgraded with new EIFS, fiber cement, paint, lighting, and modern signage to reflect the updated branding. And the sign package is reviewed as a comprehensive sign plan and meets all the requirements of that section of the code. Additionally, all setbacks are maintained and not encroached upon for the addition to current building. The expansion is going to improve the ADA ability for the parking lot and sidewalk to the current code standards. Staff recommends approval of the design review for construction of a 573 square foot building expansion and remodel at the existing Love's Travel Stop and Country Store within the CH Commercial District. The property located at 13477 Quality Drive in the Village of Roscoe, subject to the following conditions. The applicant shall install the materials that have been reviewed and approved by the Zoning Board of Appeals, and that the applicant shall obtain all necessary building permits.
Okay. Is there anyone here who would like to present
Yeah, did you say the applicant was gonna?
the applicant?
Hallway or something?
Virtual.
I think maybe somebody on, if you're the applicants and you would like to speak, you could just raise your hands in Zoom. Unmute yourself. Oh, we have.
Can you hear us? Or can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes,
Okay.
we can.
This is Kelly Guitar with PB2 Architecture and Engineering. I think she did a great job laying out exactly what we had in mind.
We gotta swear you in.
Oh, okay. Sorry, it's hard to hear.
His name is Kelly Guitar, and he's from where?
PB2?
We have to virtually swear you in, so.
Okay.
Can you spell your last name, please?
GUITTAR.
And Mr. Guitar, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, you could please go ahead.
Okay, I was just gonna say, I think she did a great job of laying out exactly what we have designed. I don't really have anything further to add. But if you have any questions for me, I'd be more than happy to help you out.
Anyone have any questions?
Yeah.
Is there any public comment with regards to this issue? Hearing none, any board discussion? Uh, Are there any motions that anyone would like to entertain?
You should entertain a motion.
So I'll raise a motion to approve. Application number ZBA 2025-23.
I'll second that. All right.
It's good one.
Is there any further discussion?
Jorgensen,
Yes.
Spinizzola,
Yes.
Galush,
Yes.
Scribbler,
Yes.
and Smith.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, next on the agenda is CBA 2025-022, public hearing for a map amendment. Rezoning 54 properties to newly adopted districts, MS-C Main Street Core or MS-E Main Street Edge as listed below. And there are 54 properties listed on the agenda. All right, start with the staff report.
And you. So before you, make sure you guys can hear me, okay? The request includes 43 properties would be rezoned to MSC Main Street Core and 11 properties would be rezoned to MSE Main Street Edge. Corresponding text amendment has been reviewed by the village board recently at the last meeting. The proposed new zoning districts are MC Main Street Core, focused on creating a vibrant mixed-use environment and encouraging pedestrian activity, commerce, community gathering. MSE Main Street Edge serves as a transitional zone between high-density core and surrounding residential neighborhoods, offering a mix of housing types and a small-scale commercial use. The proposed zoning and text amendment are designed to align and advance the vision and goal outlined in the Main Street District Roster Blueprint. Now, the blueprint identifies current zoning policies are misaligned with the community's development goals and recommends updating to support mixed-use development in a more compact local pattern. Guidelines address key elements such as building height, massing, facade treatment, streetscape design, and the intent of shaping a vibrant pedestrian-friendly downtown. There are some additional regulations that I can go through, or I can just go breeze over in regards to, there's two distinct things that a zoning district does. It provides land uses that would be allowed, and then the second component would be how you can develop on those lots, such as setbacks, design elements, and things of that nature. The district has no lot size requirements for either. The lot width doesn't require any setbacks, depth none, front setback would be none for the Main Street Core. A minimum of 0, maximum of 10 would be that. Side setbacks would be none or 0. Rear setbacks would be none to up to 15. And you could have up to potentially 4 stories on Main Street and 3 stories of Edge District. These are all regulations regarding new development and not for existing properties as they currently sit. The proposed zoning changes represent a strategic approach to urban growth and will benefit property owners while supporting a long-term economic and social vitality of the area. By integrating resident, commercial, and public space, this new zoning district will foster a dynamic mixed-use environment. There's a phasing plan approach for this particular project. We began at the 2 ends of the district, at Williams Drive and Bridge Street, or Main Street and Williams Drive, and Bridge Street and Main Street. This allows to be managed in a controlled, sustainable manner. And those areas have the most amount of commercial and traffic at this point to potentially support development if somebody were to come forward with that. Notice was mailed to all property owners that are in this district. And there was a frequently asked questions provided on the website, if anybody had any questions about it. The procedure would be that a zoning map is to change the zoning district on the zoning map for section 15779. Map amendment, text amendment outline the procedure for zoning map amendment. They're holding a public hearing on behalf of that and having a hearing within 45 days. And tonight they will make findings on whether the change is consistent and propose the intent of the zoning ordinance and the village's comprehensive plan. Staff has provided suggested findings for the ZBA. The zoning board of appeal finds that proposed zoning map amendment are consistent with the proposed intent of the zoning ordinance and the village's comprehensive plan, as it aligns with key goals and objectives of urban development. The mapping of the Main Street zoning district promotes development in a planned and coordinated manner located in areas actively served by existing and planned public water and sanitary sewer infrastructure. The proposal also contributes to the beautification and redevelopment of downtown, encourages the preservation of and restoration of historic buildings, and aligns with design guidelines intended to maintain architectural character and prevent monotony. Staff recommends approval of the requested zoning map amendment.
Okay, thank you. And I'll make a note that this line item is initiated by the village.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much for that report. We'll move on to public comments. If there's any comments with regards to this, what I'd like for you to do is please go to the sign up sheet, right? And then you can please come forward. Could you state your name, please?
My name is H. Ward Starrett,
Can you spell your last name?
STERETT.
Great. And if you can raise your right hand, please. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes, I do.
Okay. Please go ahead.
Well, I've been a village resident for 40-some years. I lived on the corner of Main and Bridge. And I'm totally opposed to this remap because the whole idea that you can change the entire area of downtown according to a blanket plan is it doesn't allow the homeowners, the property owners to actually choose what they're going to do with it. And to get rid of all these requirements that we put in over the years, when I was on the zoning board before I was village president, I mean, there was a reason why we wanted to maintain the character of the village, and reducing all these setbacks and requirements would definitely change the village forever. And it wouldn't be the town that I grew up in and my kids grew up in. And I would really request you to vote against it, not that it makes any difference, because it's going to go to the board and they're going to do whatever they want to anyway. So anyway, that's my point of view. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Is there any other public comment? Okay. Yes. Sign
Yeah,
in. State your name, please,
Jim Rodriguez,
and raise your hand. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do. Yeah, so my name is Jim Rodriguez. I'm an attorney in Rockford. I represent Telegraph Road LLC. Telegraph Road owns Main Street Square, the two parcels there. Telegraph Road purchased it about 3 years ago. Since they've taken over, it's pretty much fully leased. Discussed this with my client, and he would like to request that the board exclude his two properties from this rezoning. You know, the way that we read the ordinance, it seems to that it applies to, you know, new construction, you know, developing vacant property. He just doesn't really see any benefit to his property to be rezoned. It's fully built out. There's no intent to do anything different with it. So he would just request that it remain as the CR zoning.
Do you, does your client own on the map on the screen there, does he own 6 and 8?
Yes, he owns 6 and 8.
Does not own 7.
Does not, no.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's properties with the last 3 in the pin 020021.
Got it.
And then I guess my understanding would be that since this would now be a zoning district that in the future, if, you know, a new owner wanted to reconstruct or do something different, that this could be applied for with a map amendment at that time.
That is correct,
Okay,
through the same process.
sure. Right. Yeah, that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there any other public comment? Please make sure you signed in. Make sure you sign in.
Right here?
Yep. Yes.
There's
There's one up here too.
Oh,
there's one up there, sorry, there's one right in front of you, I didn't.
Yeah, just put my name.
All right, could you state your name, please?
Deborah Kiddo, K-I-T-T-O.
All right, raise your right hand, please. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
All right, please go ahead.
I live at, on the map ID 23. I'm totally confused and have no idea what's going on. And I didn't understand a word she said because she talked a little too fast.
Okay.
But, can you explain to me what's going on? We've lived in our home there for over 40 years. And I don't know what's going on to what. Can somebody explain it very layman's terms to me?
I can give it a shot again. So which number is your property again?
23,
23, okay. Oh yeah, the cute little yellow one.
right.
So right now, we are suggesting, so we had a text amendment go through, which is adding language to the current zoning ordinance. So that would be when we were talking about what the uses could be and what the development could look like. We went through the process of the text of it. And then the next step would be taking a district, making it zone, like putting it on a map, mapping it. And so that's what's going on tonight, is we're saying, hey, we think that these two intersections, these two areas could support this kind of zoning. That being said, this is for future development. If you would like to use your property as you have, for as long as you've lived there, you can do so. Say you want to do something different in the future, or sell your property or redevelop it, you would have to follow the new text amendment that we approved going forward.
What would that be?
So those would be the requirements of, you know, if you wanted to build a new building, like if you wanted to take your house down and you wanted to rebuild it, you'd have to make sure it would meet those requirements of like a setback and make sure that you'd have uses, and it would have to be a minimum of 2 feet tall or 2 stories tall. So those would be things you'd have to keep in mind in the future. But right now, you can continue to keep doing what you'd like to do
For how many years?
as long as you would like.
As long as I live there?
Right, this is.
What about if I sell it? What, if I put it up for sale, what, does that affect it in any way or?
It could potentially provide more options, because then you could say, if you want to do something different than what I've been doing, you could, but you'd have to apply for it. You know what I mean? Through either getting building permits or things of that nature, like a zoning permit, if you want to do something different. But you can continue to use your house as is or sell it as a single family house, right? And they could continue the use of it.
Yeah, if you want to just sell it as a single family residence, somebody who wants to buy it as a single family residence, you would be allowed.
Okay, what if somebody wanted to buy it commercially? What, they could do the same thing, just?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
so,
That's kind of what this is
Yeah,
designed to
if they're
do.
gonna build a commercial building on there, it's, this rezoning process allows them to build a commercial building. Another single family residence. It's during that right area there, really, it's, the board's looked at this and it's been discussing this for a few months now. And they're sort of aiming to have these two areas as our first areas that can be commercial redevelopment. So it's just putting an option there for people to come in if they want to build, you know, commercial along Bridge and Main there, sort of a main thoroughfare there. And turn that into more of a commercial walkable downtown area is what the goal is, right? It's not gonna happen overnight, 30 years from now, probably, 30, 40 years, it'll take some time to do this. But it's putting in place that method where people can come in and say, I like to build a little more, walkable area, maybe retail on the first floor and some, housing on the second floor. Or something that's the idea they're going for. And this is the starting point for it, is this, so.
So this is a long game
Very
project.
long, yeah.
Yeah, it's a long game. It's like, you're setting it up that as the future goes on and maybe other people buy or sell properties that could have more options to do something with them.
And so, okay. I guess I'm still a little confused, but there's nothing going on right now, nothing that we have to be concerned about.
Right now, you continue to use your property as it is, single family home. Indefinitely.
Maintenance, all that kind of stuff you can continue to do,
I'm sorry?
like maintenance and like if you need to maintain your house and stuff like that, you can continue to do so.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, is there any other public comment?
Ladies first. I signed in over there. My name's Patty Starrett and Ward is my husband.
Can you spell your last name?
And it's Sterett. I signed in over
All
there,
right, very good. If you could
And-
raise your right hand.
right? hand.
You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes, I do. So help me God. I think this is an awful idea. I think someone got a lot of money that's burning a hole in their pocket. I'm wondering who paid the people to come and present this plan. This is gonna totally change the complexion of Roscoe in a negative way. We don't have the infrastructure to handle the traffic we have now. My husband and I were here last week at the meeting regarding the bridge that's falling apart. Jeff Petrie has built thousands of apartment buildings. Our community is becoming more and more vagrant, people that don't live here. They're in and out, more rentals. The last thing we need is more rentals. Private residences provide families with quality of life. I'm sure anyone with any money doesn't live in an apartment. I think this is an awful idea. My husband and I live in homes that were built in the mid 1800s. Historical homes. This was like a beautiful rural community. And we can't handle the traffic now. We have I-90. They want to build the Perryville extension through there. And we have 251. We have so much traffic. People are worried about the EMS services when they take the bridge out. This is just a bad idea. And I suggest you do something else with money. Because I don't think our community, our infrastructure, our road systems can handle this. Putting all these people on top of each other, on top of businesses, bad idea. And that's what I have. Oh, how much did this cost? How much did we pay for this plan? How much did we pay these people from South Indiana to come here with a PowerPoint and give us this plan? How much money has gone into this already?
If you want to hear from us, we can give you the.
How many tens of thousands of dollars did we do this before we got community input?
Yeah, we've had a lot of community meetings we have, but yeah.
Yeah, well, I live on the corner and this is the first one I've been to. And it's caused a lot of consternation. I'm not happy. And if you guys would put yourself in the people that live here's shoes, you wouldn't be happy either.
May I ask can you point out where you're at on the map?
We live on the corner of Main and Bridge in a 2-story red brick home. That's been there since 1840s. Next door is a little limestone house. My husband restored them both. This is just an awful idea, awful. And I'll do everything I can to spread the word about how awful it is. Because this is terrible. I mean, we finally retired and we're enjoying these properties. We put all this time and effort in and we get this letter in the mail. It's a bad idea. Very bad. All right.
Is there any other public comment? Please come forward.
I have signed in.
All right, thank you.
I'm Greg Granzeier, Granzeier.
If you could please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. So, the property we own is number 24 Dental Building. Building is about 20 years old. Guess I had a couple concerns, a couple questions. One, is there a short and long-term plan that you have? And if you do have that, could you kind of walk us through it?
And for what? For what?
For development. Because we're doing all this rezoning, so obviously there's got to be some kind of long-term plan as far as what's going to be built and where they're going to be putting it, correct?
Well, the village isn't going to be building or developing anything. I mean, the plan is ultimately, we had throughout the summer and last year, we've had a lot of public hearings, public meetings. We can get you a copy of that blueprint, sort of the general idea of the village, and that's also on the website, I think, shortly, but if not, I can, if you want to put your email address on there.
Okay, I'll make sure
it's all tomorrow.
Okay.
We can give you a copy of that plan. You can sort of see what the sort of long-term vision for the village is, based on a lot of those meetings had with public input.
All right, and a couple other concerns. One is right behind our office is the fire department. And I know a lot of times when areas are being developed, public land is looked at for redevelopment. Is there any plan on moving the fire department to go ahead and develop that area?
There's a member of the fire department here, I think. I don't think they're planning on selling, but I don't know if you can comment on it, but
There's no plan.
yeah, I haven't heard anything from the fire department at all, that they're planning on moving.
And as an owner of some property here, one of the big concerns, of course, we have would be use of eminent domain to come in, buy up property to go ahead and develop it. And I guess nobody here would know if that's even in the works, but that is definitely a concern when we rezone the entire area.
Yeah, it hasn't been discussed at all. I don't think it would ever be. And we have some trustees here who are listening tonight. They're probably not going to comment tonight, but they'll definitely be the board, but.
There's no current authority to do
Yeah.
it. There's no current authority to do eminent domain on those properties. It would have to be a specific statutory justification. And if it doesn't exist today, I mean, the village could try and establish a TIF or something, but that would be another public process.
So
Thank you. All right, any other public comment? Yeah. Have you signed in?
I did.
Thank you.
Susan Anderson, Granzire.
And could you spell your last name, please?
Anderson, ANDERSON, Granzire, GRANZAIE. Thank you.
And raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. Okay, so I understand this is a zoning meeting, but I want to know what the plan is. You don't have a zoning meeting if there's not a plan. And I see there's a brochure here, but why weren't we given a brochure? You know, it's like it's something.
Yeah, we've had public, we had a lot of people at the other meetings. We've had public hearings and meetings throughout the summer. I'll try and pull up the picture here of what the I'll pull it up in here, but.
We were never informed of them though, you know what I mean, like as an integral part of it, owning property within this area. I think all of us should have been contacted way before it was.
Like I said, this is, again, tonight is just this is the switch over to the actual zoning districts that are there. Again, this is not the village developing anything. There's not developers developing anything. Should allow you to develop something on your property, or to sell it to somebody else to develop on that property if that came to be. But essentially, the village board and trustees looking at this for about a year now, to try to think what they want Main Street Roscoe to look like, 5 years, 10 years, 20, 30, probably 30 years from now,
Right.
as we start there. And we have to start someplace, and that someplace is creating that zoning district, that ability for somebody to come in and say, I like to make a walkable area, downtown area.
Well, so one of my concerns is this like 0-foot setback. I mean, how do you do that on a corner? That's dangerous. Like if you have a 0-foot setback and you've got a couple of corners here, it seems to me like that doesn't seem very safe.
Yeah, you're still gonna have to make the same coverage requirements. That's all in the zoning code for that, but you still have to meet those zoning coverage requirements. You're still gonna have to be, meet your site distance, your distances. It just allows a little more flexibility of where you're going to actually build your.
Okay.
But it'll be case by case. I mean, some of this too, it has so much to fit on that property.
So was the parking lot part of this plan?
Which parking lot?
The new parking lot?
Yeah, that was sort of the front end of the plan here, the front end of Main Street, and then to the back end of Main Street is where we were looking at before. Sorry, pull up here
So
is,
what's the story with the parking lot, like the awnings, what? There's no awnings, there were awnings out there.
yeah, they're going back up. There was a defect in them that we discovered as they were building it. So that's, they're being replaced
There
by
was a
the.
defect in the awning?
In the metal.
I heard
Structure.
the pilings didn't go down far enough.
No, in the structure, there was a design issue with the actual metal structure.
Okay, and who was responsible for that project?
Who's responsible for it?
Yeah, okay.
So, yeah, we're way off.
Yeah.
Way off track.
Okay, but that's part of this whole thing though. That's the start of this whole project that you guys have, right?
Well, this is the zoning meeting with regards to whether or not the zoning.
Okay, it's just a
turned into-
question that I'm having
MSC
regarding what.
Or MSC. It has nothing to do with any construction of anything. It has to do with the zoning.
Right, I get that, but when you have zoning, there's gotta be a plan.
Well, and those are good questions,
So what's
probably
the
to
plan?
kind of.
That's
If
what.
you go to www.mainstreetroscoe.org,
Yeah,
you can see the plan that the board adopted.
and who came up with that? You guys?
No, we are the zoning board.
Yeah, that was Roscoe Board of Trustees.
The Board of Trustees, okay. Thank you. And then, so how would changing this zoning affect my office?
And what
Should I
way?
check that it shouldn't affect it at all?
Nope, nope.
Alright. And so what's the purpose of changing it then?
Like I said, this is the board's has a vision for it. They've worked through a vision of what they want to see Main Street look like 30 years from now. The start of that is putting these zoning districts, these Main Street core and the Main Street edge districts. And then this is the first two areas they've identified as the sort of beginning points or the end points of that district. To sort of create the ability for people to develop those properties into something different.
Okay, so is there a developer?
No.
No.
Are you, I guess, I don't know, the village doesn't own any property, we own our properties here.
Is there a developer that's been contacted at all? Because I saw some information that, and it was on one of these slides, I saw Place Foundry.
Oh, that was the consultants that the village hired to help work through the process of the.
Okay, so they're not the developer, they're.
Not the developer.
This booklet?
Yeah, they're the consultant that helped us put together this plan, this
Okay.
overall plan.
All right, I just wanted to be clear on that.
The land planning.
I think that's everything that I have. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any other public comments?
Evening.
All right, if you could please sign in.
Yes, it did.
Okay.
Bob Sonneson, Sonneson.
All right, if you could raise your right hand, please. And do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but?
I do.
Thank you.
I have a couple of simple questions for Mr. Cornelius. Are we changing the zoning? Does that mean that all these folks that are in single family residence and we own multifamily residents that are zoned that way now, would they become non-conforming?
Yeah, I mean, they would be line conforming at this point. It would be,
No, they're conforming right now.
Yeah.
But when this goes through, do they become non-conforming?
they'd be non-conforming to the new zoning district.
So then that-
Lawfully established, pre-existing, non-conforming.
So then from my perspective, you're changing the value of my property. You are changing a zoning that affects the value of my property. Because now I become a non-conforming property, which means a bank looks very diminished on that property. That if I'm non-conforming to the current zoning, the bank is not going to be very forthright with that. So if I go to sell that property, my values are diminished because I'm no longer multifamily. I am now in different zoning and I'm non-conforming. You put non-conforming on anything, it's gonna change the value. If you want to maintain it where it is. Now, if somebody's developer comes in, wants to put in a shopping center, it may elevate it. But in general sense, these folks' house is diminished in value because they're non-conforming to the current zoning. So you're telling me that my four family now becomes non-conforming in the zonings of Roscoe?
And tell them your exact property is, but if it doesn't.
48.
It's not part of the, I mean, if it doesn't match the zoning, that's on.
I think all of us are struggling here. Then one of the best things you could have done is give a much more in-depth education to us on the definition. My property's on edge zoning. What the hell does that mean? Edge zoning. Yeah, you sent a very synopsis thing of, well, walkable, da-da-do-da-da-da-da. No, right, one of the major facts that you left out of this presentation is that it makes our properties non-conforming to the zoning of the day. And if you all perceive that that doesn't impact the current owners, your perception is wrong. It is absolutely 100% wrong. Because when I go to a bank to look at a property, and we own a lot of property, and they go, is it, you tell them it's non-conforming? A, they're gonna want a letter from the city saying they can be obtained in that fashion that it's currently used for. And B, they're gonna say there's a risk for their buyer to purchase that property. And I think it's very, very, very unfair to the general public for a community to sit back and go, you purchased under one set of rules. You bought and developed and purchased under this book. And now arbitrarily, we're going to change that book and affect the value of your property. We're going to take money out of your wallet because we have a vision of what we want the town to look like. These folks right here, their houses should never be considered for anything else but that. You want to have a vision of Roscoe? You want Roscoe to look like one of the uppity suburban Chicago neighborhoods that have got encompassed? That's what you want. You don't want another gas station. You want those houses. They've been here forever. They are a symbol of the community. You move further down the road to where Rinaldi is and stuff, that is Roscoe. It's not some eye in the sky concept. That is what Roscoe is. My biggest complaint, though, is that I lived and purchased under one set of rules, and now you're arbitrarily going to change that set of rules and take money out of my pocket. You're going to affect the value of my property. And I think that is astronomically wrong.
And which property is yours?
48,
Okay, thank you.
correct? 48, yeah. It's the edge thing. And I think everybody sitting behind me has to say the same thing. What does that mean? What exactly does that mean? Do you all know what that means? You know, what does edge mean? You know, you use the terminologies trying to paint this flower. Well, we want a walkable community. Every community is walkable. You want to be a walkable community? Put in sidewalks.
Yeah.
You know, and don't change the zoning, put in sidewalks.
Apartment.
You know, and I agree with this lady that, you know, and we own apartments, so I'm not negative to apartments. But to put apartments in the middle of this little town that has chased away tons of old world Roscoe people with the changes that have already happened. And you want to push this further forward and take people that apparently, and I don't know these, I've never met these folks, but you can drive by their houses. They have a great deal of pride. They have a great deal of pride in Roscoe, apparently. And they've spent a lot of money to take something that has been here forever. And I grew up here, and our symbol of Roscoe, that strip of residence through there, as you move from their property up onto the hill, are what Roscoe was. And to make a statement that we want to change it for 30 or 40 years from now and something that might happen, you know, have you ever seen anything happen in that vein that is a positive to the historic value of the community? Most of the other communities are doing things to preserve those type of residences, preserve the old buildings in their community. And instead, we're contemplating doing something so that we can put in, 2 law offices and 3 apartments above it. seems frivolous to me. But my biggest thing was the answer to the non-conforming. Because the non-conforming is dramatically change to individual owners' rights. You as a community are making a change that affects the value of what I bought in Roscoe. It wasn't deemed at some point in time. You have a zoning on it now, your perception is that zoning will remain. If you would have told me that this is a flowery vocabulary thing, that it stays residential multifamily, but it's inside this hopeful district, I'd have a different view. But if you're telling me the zoning's changing and you're going to make my property non-conforming, that's a wholly different picture. You want to do this and put a box around my property and say it falls into the perception that if somebody wants to buy it and does something else, the avenue is simpler for them to do it? No problem. Change the zoning doesn't seem right.
All right, thank you very much. All right. Any other comment? Public comment?
Yes. I signed in.
Thank you. Can you state your name, please?
John Broda, BRODA.
All right, raise your right hand. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
Thank you.
All right. Joe, can you put up the original zoning map that the overlay? Because you have two zoning maps. If you proposed and the other one that was in the packet.
It's talking about.
Page 28, the last page of the packet. Let's see.
Oh, the current.
It's different zones.
Existing.
I am one of your village trustees. Dane's here as well this evening, so we're here to answer questions after the meeting, but I just wanted to clarify a couple of things. Couple of properties. Sir, your property and the one next to you are zoned properly as a multifamily, but the surrounding properties all around it, the single families, Yes. are all in a multifamily zone. They've been that way longer than I've been involved with this board. So some of them are non-conforming at this moment. Nobody's saying that we have a plan to develop, tear down. Eminent domain is something that I stand against.
May I interject?
Yes.
Okay, if we keep, it's
I know, this is a
difficult to have a give and take. He's gonna have to get back up, identify himself.
Right.
And we can't just do a.
I would love to meet with you after the meeting to talk about any concerns you have.
Yeah.
All right, but what I want to point out though is that a lot of the existing zoning right now have non-conforming properties sitting in that zoning. This is all for making a more streamlined zone where if you decide to sell down the road.
It's for developers.
Well, if a developer wants to come in, now when was the last
It's
time?
just streamlining it for developers and now.
Trustee Broda, we can't.
Sorry.
Doesn't.
I'm sorry, I apologize.
Yeah.
I just wanted to point out to everybody that was here that there is no plan with a developer yet. As far as eminent domain goes, I want everybody's voice at ease. As long as I'm sitting up here, there won't be eminent domain. I don't believe in that. However, a lot of our zoning does not currently conform with the properties that are sitting on those parcels. I believe that by streamlining this, and that's why the board, and I voted for this, to move it into these two new zones, these two new zoning zones allows us to continue with the properties we have, but allow for the residents that own those properties or the business owners that own those properties to, if they choose, work with a developer, but it's going to give us guidelines. For 20 years that I've lived in the village, different properties pop up here and there with no rhyme or reason within the village downtown area, the Main Street area. Well, there is no downtown area. So this is just more of a streamline to build the type of community with feedback we've gotten from residents all over Roscoe over a year and a half before I ran for the board. And then since I've been on the board, talking about what people want to see for their long-term vision for the village we live in. This is just one more step to that. Like I said, I will answer any questions or take any concerns with anybody after the zoning board meeting. That's why I'm here tonight. So I thank you all for your time.
Thank you. All right, is there any other public comment? Ms. Quinn?
Did sign in. My name is John Rinaldi. RINALDI.
All right, Mr. Rinaldi, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. I just wanted to kind of, Bob had mentioned something about where there would be some property value lost when they go to sell these if they're rezoned. I guess I agree with maybe you, Roscoe's looking at a vision for the future, but instead of rezoning everything right now and losing potential property values, what about if you had your vision and then when somebody wanted to redevelop a property, then they ask for a rezoning, you go back and see if it matches your vision for the future. That way, it's not affecting these people's properties currently, only if they're looking to improve the property to make something different. Would that be a compromise? Potentially, that would satisfy these folks as well as the village. Just my.
Thank you very much. Or any other public comment? Okay. All right, so now we'll close public comment and we will move on to board discussion.
We want to, Joe, do we want to get comment on the couple of properties that
Yeah, I mean, I think we
might be
can,
excluded from the?
Yeah. I think we've looked at the, Mr. Starrett and those properties over there, Simonson, Mr. Simonson, is that who it was too? There. I think we did look at that prior to, prior to this meeting, we published this. I think we probably would be pulling or making recommendations to this board, it's just recommending to the village board, pull that block out, the 45 through 49. As we're looking, what we would potentially see develop as more commercial or more multifamily or some more intense uses than the single families and the multifamilies that are currently existing there. So that'd be one of the recommendations I think that staff would probably be making when it goes to the village board for review. When we pull out that 45 through 49.
And we pull that out as part of the motion today.
Yeah, that was a recommendation from the
And
village.
Hillary, that's consistent with your,
Yep, I mean,
Okay. And what's the
we'd love to keep them if we agree that we'd like to. use them.
what's the other one?
And then the other one was that 6 and 8,
6 and 8.
which are the Main Street Square. And keeping it in there, I mean, taking it out of those, but that is fully developed already. That's sort of set as it is. So that's why we were looking at those. We pull those out as well. And we need to.
So are there questions for either these things?
The non-conforming issue. Can anyone explain that? As far as it, I thought you said it'd be legally non-conforming.
Well, Mr. Rhoda made a very good point. Apparently the existing thing on that whole block, which we're talking about removing, the two most vocal, we're gonna suggest those come out, is currently zone multifamily. They're not.
They're gonna remain that way.
But we are looking to pull the block out that includes those two and then the shopping center, so.
45 and 46, are those currently multifamily or are those single family?
They show here as multifamily.
But are there existing single?
There's
family?
existing single.
So they're already not conforming.
And I think there's that part of town, there's a lot of non-conforming currently, as is. I think Grove Street and
And
I think
conforming and
52,
non-conforming.
52, 53, I think are non-conforming as well. Those are single family zoning, but I think those ones with the cabins on them over there. So those are all non-conforming as well. There's a lot of non-conforming properties in the village as is. That have just been sitting there for years, and that's fine. They can continue to sit that way. But this is setting up sort of a more cohesive zoning.
And regardless, they're all grandfathered in so they can remain as is. Without
And
any
that's-
question, they can be
yeah,
sold
there
as
we go.
is,
Yep.
right?
And they continue to be continued to be used as is, correct? Yeah, we hear that grandfather term. I mean, so when we say legal non-conforming, it's what most people I think call grandfathered. When property's grandfathered in. I think the more technical term is that legal non-conforming, but that's what we're talking about. And we definitely have had some of those properties be sold. Actually, I think 52 and 53 were recently sold. Again, non-conforming as is. But
37.
we get those letters from the banks, they give us requests, we say, yep, this is legal non-conforming, continue to be used as is. And that's usually sort of the end of it on those. Again, I mean, take both date points, and there may be some issues with those, but
And just to define the conforming and non-conforming means is if it exists forever, it can stay that way. But if it's destroyed by fire, natural disaster, it has to conform to current code.
correct.
You know, several of these properties have been sold recently, like you said, and are sold for their current zoning, and they're not conforming.
Were they sold with conventional 30-year fixed rate mortgages?
With no problems.
I'm sure there were appraisals attached to those and there was no effect.
No problems whatsoever.
So essentially, this is just to try to clean up the zoning in a way that you can envision a future of what it may look like 30, 40, 50, 100 years down the road.
To start, yep, that's a big part of this is to start.
And you can't develop in the village of Roscoe with like a downtown type looks. Think of like downtown Rockton or Floyd or something. You don't have those ability today in Roscoe. I think this would be the area most likely that to potentially happen over time.
Something that we've talked about at previous meetings is how there's businesses coming in requesting development. You can see it on the main drag here, how there's not uniformity. And the idea of this is to create an ability to have uniformity. Talking about right.
Correct, and to create standards, as they develop down the road. As making 50% transparency so that it's looks welcoming and you want to walk down.
But if somebody has a single family home and they want to sell it someday and a business wants to buy it and put in their office like many of the properties, they can do that. So the building could exist forever. It could be used for many different reasons.
And we've seen that. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, look at all of Main Street, we've seen that. One of the things that, and this has been mentioned in other previous meetings, but one of the zoning changes here that was changed as part of this was our parking requirements. Where currently we have the same parking requirements for, a building and a use right on Main Street and, a shopping center have the same sort of parking standards for like a retail use. That's why you see up and down Main Street here, as we're enforcing our zoning codes and our changes, you see some of these big sort of empty parking lots along Main Street that maybe don't necessarily make sense for that type of use or that type of, location. Some wasted space where you do have some on-street parking, not a lot, but if you have a commercial or retail establishment, maybe you don't need to have, 100 parking stalls or 50 parking stalls. When you do have some on-street parking versus say Roscoe Center or Main Street Square, where you've got, sort of big building sort of set back where you would want to have that extra parking and you don't have on-street parking. So it's just trying to create a standard that allows for, I guess, more logical development, sort of a Main Street area. Sort of what's starting to try to go in right now, and you've seen the last few years, I think we've seen a lot of these houses, like with those two-story houses, being converted into, retail spaces or into office space, a lot of them are office now. An office space with, 2 occupants in it, or maybe, an insurance company or a real estate agency, and then, a whole parking lot next to it on that same property. So it's that's when we talk about pulling those setbacks and reducing some of the parking requirements, is to try to avoid that, trying to avoid that requirement of having, a 2-story house, small house, right? Turn a 2-story house or that size of a building with and then a large parking lot right next to it, right on frontage here. It's trying to allow it, okay, well, you gotta have that one there. Sort of incentivize or allow, maybe we'll build another one next to it, similar style, similar type, and not have to have that parking right next to it. So that's one of the big changes we've got, I think, is the parking and the setbacks we're talking about. Most of the properties along Main Street are currently non-conforming on their setbacks. And that's for years now. When they switched from residential, which is not, there's some residential on Main Street, some mix, I guess. But switching from residential to a commercial use, those setback requirements changed. And we've got a lot of houses that were converted into commercial and office along Main Street, where they are now non-conforming. So there is a lot of non-conforming there right now. So it's trying to make a sort of consistent guideline, say, yep, here's what we want to see, and here's a way to do it to get to that direction. If there has to be changes along the way or amendments along the way, maybe we do, and we haven't. We've been doing a lot of changes recently to try and make it a little more uniform and enforceable on all of our zoning districts, actually. But I guess that's really what this is right now. It's just trying to get this put in place where it's allows for some consistency on Main Street.
And so to clarify, staff is okay with and recommending removal of the orange block 45 through 49. And then the two shopping center pieces that Mr. Rodriguez identified.
That is correct.
So the motion, to the extent you make a positive motion to recommend these zoning changes, it would exclude that orange block and it would exclude the two lots that are the shopping center to the north. And those are lots 6. When you get to the motion, I'll identify or more. Probably you could go ahead and entertain the motion.
I'll entertain a motion. Someone wants to.
You gotta figure the verbiage for the motion.
Right.
Motion to recommend approval of the zoning change.
Motion to recommend the approval of the zoning change pertaining to blocks,
All lots,
all lots.
with the exception of lots 6 and 7.
I'm not making this motion.
Sorry, 6 and
Sorry.
8. This is your motion. She's writing it down. 6 and 8, and
Trying to
then,
write it down.
and then lots 45 through 49.
Are gonna be exempted.
Right. They're just not going to be included in the motion to have a zoning change.
Okay,
That's your motion. You don't have to restate it. She's got it.
okay.
So Melissa Smith, you're making that motion? Is that correct?
I'm thinking about it now. I'm all, no, I'm not making that motion.
Okay, sorry.
No, sorry.
Someone else want to make that motion?
I read it.
Yes, or you can just state as the motion as stated.
Yeah, as the motion has stated, I'll raise that motion.
Okay,
And we'll need it read, like,
all right.
That's why.
We need a
it's getting
second.
confusing. I'm
I just
sorry.
need a second.
Yeah.
We need a second.
I'll second that.
All right, thank you.
Tell me whenever you can.
So the motion is to recommend the zoning change for all the lots that have been presented, excluding the orange block, which is lots 45, 46, 47, 48, 49. Two of the people who spoke as it happened. And then the shopping center, which Attorney Rodriguez presented as it's a done shopping center. Those two lots to the north and that block to the south will be excluded from the motion. There'll be no recommendation to change those.
And that's lot 6 and 7.
6 and 7, 6 and 8 to the north, and
45.
45 to 49.
45 to 49 to the at south. That's the repeat of the
That
motion.
is the motion.
Any further discussion?
Any further discussion?
Belush?
Yes.
Scribbler? Yes. Jorgensen?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Spinizzola?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. Yes, that motion carries then. That's it for new business. Is there any old business? Having heard none.
Is there any further?
Is there any further public comment?
Thank you.
Thank you. And then I would take a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
I will have faith.
All in favor? That's what.
No, go ahead. Jump the gun.
All right, so all in favor? Aye. All right, all opposed? And motion.
So I'll help you out here. If you want to grab my business card, I will send you any documents or information that you need. Give me a call as well.
I thought you do.
It's much better.
It's always been done piecemeal, that's how the city council developed. That's what I was figuring. Okay, too, I think that's good enough. Yeah. Please.
Oh, yeah, okay. Well, all right, then, I guess.
People. So my grandma said, yeah, I mean, that's purchase. You can see what you need.
Yeah. What was that?
Yeah. It's so pretty.
It's a property.
Well, I mean, this city. Very big store. That's like.
Yeah, I don't know. Super.